What's going on, Sticks? I'm out here today just kind of tinkering with some tackle and little things in my boat. I'm always just out here tinkering and switching things around and trying to figure out what's best. I got a tournament coming up Saturday. It's a benefit tournament. But I got something I want to show y'all. I've been using this product for quite a while, and I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and I'm gonna just get it out there. Some of y'all already know, but I got a couple of them laying right here, and that is LA-Tex Tackle. Brenton and them over there, they make phenomenal custom rods. As you'll see, I got two completely custom rods that they did for me and my son. Some of y'all might have seen previous videos on that, and also I got a couple of rods that they offer that are just, they're standard LA-Tex Tackle rods. So we'll dive into it. I'll start off with their standard rods, which are phenomenal. I have caught some pretty good fish on them. First one I'm gonna start with is this one right here. This is a 7-foot fast tip, right? And spin cast rod. I have just a Abu Garcia Max on here. Man, this rod here is an amazing rod for drop shotting. I mean, this is a drop shot stick right here, but it's also really good for wacky rigging. You can wacky rig this around grass and docks and other things, and it's got a bend to it, but it's also got a really good backbone, and that's why I really like drop shotting it too, because throwing it out there in deep or shallow water, whenever I hook that fish, whether it's drop shot in a brush pile or lay downs or around grass edges or what have you, dock, this thing's got enough backbone where I can, when I set into him, reel into him, I can get that fish out of there. Now I normally run it, I find the best whether I'm drop shotting or wacky rigging. I got a 12-pound braid, and I like putting, the less I'll go is like an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, but I like staying around that 10 to 12-pound range. I'm a big power fisherman, so going too light, it kind of, I'll do it whenever they're, want to be finicky or whatever, but I like being able to get that fish towards the boat, especially when it matters. The second one is, it's a 6'8". It's a moderate fast. Y'all, when I tell y'all, this is a phenomenal jerkbait rod. It's short, so I'm standing on front of the boat and throwing this jerkbait. I can use it with my rod tip down, and I'm not hitting the water. And whenever that fish hammers on it, it's got some give to it, whether they hit it while you're in that moving motion or whether it's on a pause. You go to set that hook, it's not just gonna rip it out of their mouth. It's light. I can't tell you how light this rod is. On this one, I have it paired with an H2OX rod, right? So, but the key is the rod and the line. On here I'm throwing a 12-pound fluoro, but it's got a short handle to it, and it's also really good. I have another one too, but it's also really good for that bait finesse fishing, right? The BFS system. So you could actually use this to, whether you're juggling a minnow you know, or throwing you a little Shad Rap, number 5 Shad Rap, some of that nature. You know, really small baits also is really good for that. You need to check out LA Tex Tackle, because this little rod right here is definitely something special. This right here is probably my second favorite rod, right? This is a 7'3". It's like a medium heavy, but a little bit on the heavier side, and it's got a fast tip. Now, I always got my favorite jig on here, which is that Dirt Shallows Outdoor flipping jig, which was Bennett helped make this. If y'all are looking for a phenomenal flipping jig, check that out. But anyway, on this stick right here, it is such a powerhouse, and I have pulled some fish out of some pretty gnarly places and never had any issues. You know, you can ask anybody that fishes with me. I got a hook set out this world, and I have broken a lot of different rods. People have made some custom rods and sent them to me, or you know, just went out and wanted to try new rods, and I have broken a lot of different rods and with my hook set. And these rods so far, I have 0 issues with them. You know, it comes through the guides real well, and like with this jig, I like flipping and pitching, right? Flipping and pitching, getting underneath treetops and underneath hanging trees and everything else, and it is easy to get that bait in there. And then once I set the hook, this thing's got enough backbone, it can pull the biggest bass you have on your line out there and get it out that brush or out of that dock and get it to the boat. Their LA Tex Tackle, their series rod, you need to check them out. And I'm here, like, their normal series rods, but they're under $100. So if you're looking for a phenomenal, great rod that will not break the bank, that you can, you know, tournament fish with, because I tournament fish with these. Whether you tournament fish with them or just pond hopping, or you're just a weekend fisherman that just likes to go out and just enjoy a good time in God's creation and fish, these rods you can get and they will not break the bank, right? So you need to check out those rods. This is my signature rod that he made me. Him and my wife got together and designed this rod. I said I wanted a true flipping stick, because that's my bread and butter, that's my passion. I wanted a 7'3", a medium heavy rod that I can Texas rig with, you know, and flip, you know, Texas rig all the way up to a ½ ounce weight, right? To be able to get in there and pull a lot of fish out of a lot of heavy cover. And I'm here to tell you that this definitely impresses, you know. So this is purely custom. LA Tex Tackle, you can contact Brenton, and I mean, you can go into exact detail on what you want on your rod, and he can make it purely custom. Whether you want a you know, memorabilia rod for your favorite sports team, you know, whether LSU fan or what have you, you know, or you got a graduation coming up, you can make a graduation rod, or you know, you have that family member that you always want to be able to remember, you know, you can make a rod and go fishing and they'll always be fishing with you, kind of thing. And I'm here to tell you that the craftsmanship on this is A1. I mean, to me, there's nobody else that can do the work that he does. So as you can see here, you know, it's got my Southern Sticks on it. It's got the Jesus fish, and it's got the cross with the praying hands. And then on the very bottom eye, they got the crucifixion with Jesus. You know, everything that I do in my life, to me, revolves around Christ. You know, I'm very blessed, and I give him all the praise and glory. And you know, he's the beginning to everything. And you know, flipping was the beginning of my fishing, so I wanted to incorporate Christ into my rod, you know. And Sandy and Britton did very, very well at being able to do that. But I have it paired with an Origins R1 13 fishing. You know, it's a 8 1-to-1. So one thing I will say, like when you're flipping, you know, Texas rig, I like having a little faster reel. This 8 1-to-1, when I flip in there and I set the hook on that fish, right? This rod gives me enough backbone to pull him out. But with a faster gear ratio reel, right, when I'm cranking, I can get that fish out of that brush pile a lot faster, right? And majority of the time when I'm flipping with fluorocarbon. You know, this is 20-pound fluorocarbon. I like to be able to get in there, set him, and get him out. As you see, it's got my name, custom for Daniel Duhan and Southern Sticks. So he's got different kind of rods that you can use, but y'all need to check him out, right? Now, this next rod is about as custom as you can get, from the fork handle through the whole rod, right? So my beautiful wife, some of y'all may have seen this, right, has put the cross, my son's favorite scripture, which is John 3:16, and a picture of Christ on this fork handle. She would burn this onto this fork handle, right? And I'm here to tell you, it is amazing. So she does this for Brenton too. If y'all want a custom rod and you want something wood burned on the fork handle, she'll wood burn it, and then Brenton and them, when she'll send it to him, and they'll seal it and put it on the rod, you know. So you can always have that custom part of that rod with you. Also, my son's favorite color is blue, so we put like a sky blue, a baby blue on all the, you know, the eyes and towards the bottom on the reel seat right there above it. And he's got some blue and silver flake in there, right? On this rod, this is a heavy, right? This is a 7'6" heavy fast, right? So it's got a fast tip, right? Fast tip, but it's heavy. It's a good backbone. This is DJ's flipping rod. It's good up to a ½ ounce weight, which is what he has here. So you can flip anywhere from a quarter ounce weight, which we like flipping, all the way to a ½ ounce weight. But on this heavy, you know, he can go all the way up to like a 3/4 ounce to start punching grass and mats and things like that. But this is paired with a Lew's speed spool, right? And the gear ratio on this one is a 7.5-to-1. So again, it's a little quicker gear ratio on the speed from what I talked about earlier. 20-pound fluorocarbon, and this is just a beautiful beautiful rod. If you want a custom rod, if you want a phenomenal rod that will not break the bank, you know, that's very, very affordable, contact LA Tex Tackle. Brenton and them can get you hooked up. Y'all can go through all the details. Tell them I sent you, right? Tell them that you want a custom rod because of this video. You know, it's a rod that's gonna last you a lifetime. If something happens to the rod, you can always contact Brenton and he's gonna help you out, right? So it's not just, you know, you fix this rod and you get this rod, beautiful rod, and something happens to it, right? And you can't get a hold of nobody, that's not Brenton. You know, contact him if something happens to your rod and he's gonna get you hooked up. There's something else. Whenever you buy a rod from Brenton, a custom rod and this and that and other, hit him up. He's partnered with Live Fishing, and you can get these rod socks that will go on your rods. There's all different kind of colors. You can try to color match them to your rods or color code them to, you know, your what kind of rods they are, you know. But hit him up with these Live Fishing. As you can see, I got Live Fishing here. I mean, they're big supporters of Southwest Junior Anglers. Alright, y'all, so I'm gonna get back in this boat. As you can see, I got some more things to kind of get rigged up and tinker with, so I'm gonna let y'all go. But contact Brenton, get you some of these rods, and get on their webpage because they got a couple more things on there that you may be interested in, whether it's baits. They do, Miss Kimberly does her baits. They're phenomenal, right? So get with them and get you a once in a lifetime rod, straight custom to you. And until the next video, stay sticking.